American Craftsman podcast is sponsored by Hayfla. Hayfla offers a wide range of products and solutions for the woodworking and furniture making industries, from hinges and drawer slides to connectors and dowels, sandpaper, shop carts, wood glue, and everything in between. Exclusive product lines such as Lux LED lighting and Slido door hardware ensure that every project you create is built to last. Learn more at hayfla.com.
I feel good.
Welcome back.
Yeah, I do feel good.
Joined by our, what do you call it when you're the most of something? Most
preeminent?
The preeminent guest. The most prolific guest on the podcast. Friend, Mr. Jon Peters.
Great to be back.
Yeah.
Yeah, this must be five times.
Yeah, and Walter was here just, I think, 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He spoke highly of you.
Yeah, Walter's a good. I'm learning from Walter now.
Walter is John's roommate. Housemate. Actually, somebody reached out to me today asking for Walter's info about some machining.
Really?
Yeah.
So Walter's my son.
Yeah.
He's he does live with us, which he's smart because he's just like, yeah, I'm just saving all my money while I can.
Yeah. If I moved out here in like 2011 or whatever, but yeah, if I was close to my parents, I would have stayed there as long as I could.
It's great. Yeah. It's great having him, and Michael's home. Jack's the only one who's out now, but Michael just graduated last year, so they're all just sort of taking their time and building up a kitty because it's really I can't get over how expensive it is to rent something these days.
Yeah. Back in my day, it was quite normal that if you didn't go to college, you spent, your graduation from high school was your last day living at home.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Parents expected you out.
I actually like having them around.
I was going to say I feel like it gets a bad rap, but like it must be cool having like your adult children around, now that.
Yeah, they're doing their own thing. So Michael gets on the boat to go into the city. He leaves the house, I think, at a 6:45, maybe even earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Which port is he going out of?
He leaves from Atlantic Highlands and goes into Lower Manhattan.
Okay.
And then Walter leaves around 7. Olivia leaves around 6:40, and Jack's been out of the house for about 2 or 3 years now, maybe 4 years. Jack lives close by though, but you don't see, once they move out, you don't see him all that much.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny that way, right?
He's only 5 minutes away, and it's nice when he comes by for dinner.
Yeah, he is. I never thought of it, but he is real close.
Yeah.
Just go past the park and there you are.
Yeah. I can meet him if I mountain bike over to his place. 'Cause he's like literally like a block or two out of the woods.
Mm-hmm.
You take like this little trail out to this dirt road, and it's 2 or 3 blocks, and you're like right in front of his house. So sometimes if I'm on a ride, especially when it's warmer out and not getting dark so early, I'll just drive by his house just to see if he's out or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I've stopped there and had a beer with him. So it's cool.
Yeah. Sounds great.
They go from being, somebody like you're in that stage now with Hunter's 5 or 6.
5.
So you're in that stage where you're everything to them.
Yeah.
And I remember looking forward to the time when I could really throw a baseball hard to them. And then it got to the point where I didn't want them to throw it that hard at me, because they're just like, if you saw Michael doing that handstand into the ice bath, they're just strong.
Yeah.
And they get big quick. So enjoy it. I tell every young parent, you just got to really enjoy it, because it's like a blink of an eye and it's gone.
It is. I mean, just time in general goes by so quickly.
It really does. It really does.
Yeah. Days are long, the years are short. Say it all the time.
Yeah.
Like Alan, our UPS guy, stopped in today. I said, "Hey, Alan, how's the baby?" "Oh, she's going to be a year." I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, I have no sense of time really as it is, but that really caught me off guard.
Yeah, it goes by so quick. It's funny because I think when Michael was maybe 2. I think that's when I got my first digital camera. So they're all pretty well documented, but they're all documented mostly in photos.
Yeah.
Where Olivia is just so well documented from my phone. She got a phone when she was in 7th grade. It's just like everybody's got video. I mean, look I'm probably the most well documented.
Well, now everything, if you have an iPhone, it's a live photo. So it's like a 2-second video. Every picture is really like a 2-second video clip or whatever it is.
Is that? I thought that was just a setting. I thought you could change that.
You can turn it off, but I think by default it's on. Yeah, so if you hold your finger down on the picture, it'll play like a second before and a second after. You got to watch because if you send, I sent a picture. Maybe I haven't, but I caught myself like sent a picture to a client. Where I'm like, oh, this motherfucker. It's like it would have caught it on audio.
Oh, it takes the audio too.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Let me see if I can.
I tell you, that's the last thing I want to do is get caught in some kind of a. Jeez,
it's like maybe 3 seconds.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
yeah, you definitely could say something in 3 seconds that you wouldn't want out there.
So I'll show you a tip. So here, if I went into our group thing and to send a picture, I'll send that picture. Before you send it, you see in the top corner that blue, you can hit that and it turns off the live photo. I turn it off anytime I send a picture because you never know, what you accidentally caught a second or two before and after.
Well, it's funny because when we record today's Craftsman, when I'm shooting B-roll, we're often having conversations and I'm like, oh, wow, I can't believe that's what we were talking about. Or I forgot talking about that. And it's nothing, but it's not something you might not want to share with the rest of the world.
Yeah, anything.
It's a private
taken
conversation.
Out of context, yeah.
That's the other thing. Anything can be taken out of context.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we live in an age of sound bites. And
gotchas.
Yeah, and now with AI and everything, you have all the deep fake stuff, which is...
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I can't even wrap my head around it.
AI, it's interesting. It's scary for sure. But at the same time, it's interesting and like, I don't know anything about it other than playing around a little bit with ChatGPT. But the idea of like shooting a video and then I guess people are just using AI to do color rendering and, just to. So it's funny. I've been shooting videos with my friend Peter Hagberg and eventually we plan to do some food type shows. Shooting food can be really, really hard.
Yeah.
And we don't want it to be hard. We want it to just be really relaxed. And so when we used to shoot food shows, we would shoot them outside, which is always better. The downside is you do have shifting light and you do have potential noise, but now working with the lav mic, it's not as big of a deal. But I was thinking the other day, if we shot in his kitchen, could I just edit the whole video and then have it go through AI and have it like look a lot better?
Color corrected and all that, yeah.
Like, so that's something that Walter will know about.
Yeah, I think some of the, I know some of the editing programs now have AI built in, like Photoshop has AI. What's the other one that's real popular right now?
Canva, you were telling me about it.
Canva has it. There's another one that's like an editing, photo and video editing, I think. I can't think of the name, but I'm sure like maybe Premiere Pro and whatever the big Adobe one. And
yeah, so it's exciting because you think, okay, that's just one less thing I have to be good at. But at the same time, it is probably taking a job from somebody or,
Yeah, but you're not going to pay somebody to do that.
No, I would just put out a shitty video.
Here it is. Man. Deal with it.
Yeah.
We got to give a shout out to our buddy Brian over at Baloo, BHALOO Candles. We got one burning in the shop right now. It's the Man Goat.
Yeah.
Which is like a mango
Is there some coconut in there?
Yeah, well, it's made with coconut wax.
That reminds me of a surf shop. I like the smell of that.
Yeah. It's definitely setting the vibe. And it's Keyport made.
That's so
Not
cool.
Keyport, Keensburg.
Let me see what he's got on here. Coconut soy wax candle made in USA, 255 grams. He has like, let me see. I'll pull it up on Jesus. Always getting caught on the rug. He has, what's it called? Like a shop on Instagram, but I think ideally people should buy through people's website because I'm sure Instagram is taking a cut.
Oh, yeah.
Man goat. So it's man and then goat like the
Greatest of all time.
Yeah, what do you call that? A acronym. So like mango, goat, mangoat. And he says, where is it? I was reading it last night. So Brian came by the shop and we did a little barter, some candles for some wood. Mango, a mango lassie for your sniffer. This not too sweet gourmand scent is creamy, dreamy, and balanced with vanilla, chestnut, coconut milk, and a hint of warm spice. Solid addition to tea time or any other evening ritual. This easy to love scent is intended to support a feeling of calm relaxation. You guys feeling relaxed?
Oh, yeah.
Did he just happen into the shop?
No. So he started following us, or I started following him on Instagram, many months ago. And I think we've maybe commented back and forth a couple times, but he was looking for plain shavings because he would like to use them to package candles.
Okay.
And he was asking if we had any, and I'm like, honestly, it's it's more of just hand planing is awfully romantic, but we're really not doing a ton of it. It's we're mostly making dust. But then he was saying if you have any offcuts, I'd like to buy them off you. You want to make some shelves. I said, we got plenty of offcuts. I said, we'd love to trade for, a candle or two.
Nice.
Yeah. So we came by yesterday.
Yeah, they're really nice. Really nice candles.
Yeah. It's not the scent is,
it's not overpowering.
Right. It doesn't have that artificial.
Right. It's not perfumey.
No.
That's what I like about it because the perfumey ones will set me off.
Mm-hmm.
50 hours of burn time with proper care. So the fragrance profile on the top end, you got red mango and pineapple. Then you got coconut milk, vanilla, and saffron, chestnut, cream, and cardamom. Made by hand.
Were you always a big candle person?
I have a candle burning at home a lot of the time. I have 2 dogs. They stink.
Oh, okay.
So I like having a nice candle lit. But I never got into
aromatherapy
nice handmade
or something.
candles like this. Yeah.
You're just getting regular. Yeah, this is nice.
Yeah, from from
Michael's or something.
Yeah, I don't know where the hell my wife gets them.
ShopRite.
AC Moore. They're probably $1. But they do. They have that, and you can smell the wick burning. You get that
petroleum.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
so
uses
these are-
all good ingredients. Even the wick, he was saying.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Really nice guy, young guy, maybe late 20s.
Yeah.
Or maybe not even.
I think early 20s.
Early 20s.
Wow.
Yeah, just trying to do something cool. So
Nice.
I think not everybody, but anyone who is able should go buy a candle from him.
Yeah.
$30. Come on.
Yeah. That'd be nice.
We were saying before, talking about the salt boxes, people balking at $100. It's how much did you spend on takeout last month? You got $30 to support, some nice guy making candles.
A local artisan.
Yeah.
Well,
And it's got cool art. It smells good.
It's funny because I thought 10 years ago, as more and more people were buying things online, that more and more people would buy things directly through artists and craftsmen. But I don't know if that's, I think that big business has just sort of monopolized the internet even more because they have more power. So it's sort of when YouTube started, it was sort of all these kind of people doing these cool things. And then maybe 5 years after I started doing it, I think Will Smith was one of the first ones who like got a channel. And now everybody has a channel. And just like everybody who's famous has an Instagram. So you'll see like a really talented woodworker who has maybe 50 to 150 Instagram followers. And then just like for some reason I was looking at, somehow Mariah Carey came up on my feed and I clicked on her thing.
10 million.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah.
It's just, so the mainstream celebrities have mainstream everything is basically taken over what was once grassroots.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like something new will come out like when streaming services came out like Spotify and people were like, oh, this is a democratization of music. Anybody could put out their music. But now
it's not.
You're just squashed by.
Yeah, that's what I think.
So YouTube is the same thing. Now there's, all these channels with big money behind them. And
look at Etsy.
Yeah.
Etsy's a perfect example. It was supposed to be for little, people, cottage industry stuff. And Reverb was this music reseller. Like it was
like an eBay for music stuff.
Right. It was just, if I had a guitar or a guitar pedal or an amplifier, I'd put it up on sale, on this marketplace. And it was all peer-to-peer stuff. And then Etsy bought it. And it became, lots of resellers. And it just changes the whole vibe. It makes it hard.
Yeah, so it's definitely a bummer because you're not dealing with that one individual. It's not that person to person relationship like it once was.
No, what I went to was Reddit has this what do you call it? The
subreddit?
Yeah, subreddit called Let's Trade Pedals.
How do you like it?
Yeah, I love it.
Oh, cool.
And on the surface, it sounds like this crazy proposition. So you have to, join and you have to be a member for, I think, 45 days or something like that. There's this trial period. And then basically you just trade pedals with other Redditors. And you're sending your pedal to them and they're sending their pedal to you.
No money?
No money is exchanged. Wow. And there's no guarantees. But as, you do this, you build up, points. It logs how many trades you've made and you can see the person's history and things like that. So,
is there ever going to be money or is it always just going to be trades?
It's just let's trade pedals.
Okay. So there's no incentive other than getting rid of something you don't want and getting something that you might want.
Right.
There's no business incentive at all.
A scammer might not send the pedal.
Okay.
But you got to be vetted for 45 days.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And like if something bad happens, people are outed and all this other stuff. But it's one of the greatest things. It really like renews your faith in humanity that you send this $200 thing off into the mail and you just wait for yours to show up.
Yeah.
That's cool. If it works, yeah.
It does work. Yeah.
Yeah, and Etsy now, like when you think of Etsy, what do you think? You think about like handmade stuff, small business, but you go on there and like a lot of the stuff is coming from overseas. You really have to read the thing like really close because it's overrun now. Like, I like to go on there for like gifts and stuff. Like for Christmas, the last couple of years, I tried to like for my family, like buy stuff from Etsy and even like the Secret Santa got the belt buckle for Michael from there. But yeah, you got to really read the descriptions and stuff.
Because they're slick.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, they make it look like it's handmade and artisanal, but it's just some crap.
Just more junk from China.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So with that bit of good news.
Yeah, go buy a candle. Should we talk about the little bench?
Yeah, that'd be fun to do. So I guess it was maybe 6 or 8 weeks ago. Talk about time flying by. Might have been longer.
Holy cow.
I think it was in the new year. I think it was 2024. Anyway, I've always enjoyed looking at furniture when I watch movies or TV shows. I'll notice artwork, furniture, architecture, all that sort of stuff. Especially furniture, though, because you think, oh, that might be fun to build.
Mm-hmm.
And so just to throw out one show, if anybody has seen the sitcom Frasier from a couple decades ago.
Oh, yeah.
He had a pretty cool apartment with some great furniture. And so that always sort of stuck in the back of my mind. And then my wife and I were watching One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Netflix has put up some of the classics. And there's a scene towards the end of the show, like 3/4 of the way in, where I guess the character of Jack Nicholson gets these women to bring in some booze, and they end up having a party. And what's the name of the actor, Rob? Because you knew the actor.
Oh, Scatman Crothers?
Yeah, Scatman Crothers he's kind of that dude with, he's got the bow legs, and he was also in The
Shining.
He was also in The Shining. And there's a scene where he walks into, it looks like an industrial kind of a bathroom with one of the women, and you can see this bench, and it looks kind of like a shaker bench. And I thought, oh, that'd be kind of a fun thing to build. Mm-hmm. So I took a picture of the TV and sent it to Jeff and Rob, and they were on board. And so here we are 6 or 8 weeks later, and now we've got some. I made a little model of it, and I did a kind of a quick little plan, and then Jeff's going to turn it into plans.
Another cool one from there. It's like a Morris, almost like a Morris style bench.
Yeah, that one's nice, but that one looks like it's a lot more work.
Yeah, Slash owned Jack Nicholson Hospital bench. I wanted to see if
it's actually in there, right?
Yeah.
So just doing a Google search on images now.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. That's nice. A little green and green.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So even you look at that furniture because he's trying to watch the World Series there, and then they're pretending that it's actually on because Nurse Ratched wouldn't let him watch the TV.
Yeah,
I read a thing and she said it was like she never watched the movie because it was so disturbing to make it. Look at that. That's wild. We're looking at the set, the open set.
Yeah.
There's some great images you can find. Yeah. If you're a fan of the classics and this, especially this One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, there's some pretty cool stuff you can find on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a powerful story.
It is.
I'm telling you, the show Ratched that they did recently with what's her name? Sarah Paulson she's pretty famous from like American Horror Story. She's like usually the main female character. That had some cool stuff because it takes place in like the 40s when Nurse Ratched is first.
What service did you watch that on? Because I want to watch that. I remember you telling me about that a little while ago.
Yeah, her. You recognize her?
You know what's funny? You know what's a good sign of you getting older?
Netflix, it looks like.
You're going to laugh at this one. Like I'm looking at Nurse Ratched. She's an attractive woman, but I didn't when I was a kid.
Yeah, like look at this old hag.
The original one, right?
Yeah, the original one.
The first thing I said to myself was, "Wow, I don't remember her being so young."
Yeah. I'm looking at her. I'm like, wow. And then here's what it'll really date me. The Partridge Family.
Oh yeah,
she was a pretty attractive woman.
Yeah,
like look at Partridge.
This. Oh, wow.
That's
wild.
Like there's a lot of sets that are.
That's some very contemporary. Well, how would you describe that?
Kind of like Art Deco, you know?
Yeah. Yes, that's steel, I think.
Hard to make.
That's Frasier. Yeah, I mean, like, look at this. Some real wild stuff.
Yeah.
I thought the bench was a good one to start with because it's so simple.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I like simple furniture too. I think a space for me, like a nice space I just am drawn to is just simple wood furniture.
Yeah.
White walls, simple wood furniture.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the goal is to make it very accessible for
That's true,
folks to to recreate.
That's the idea, is to inspire woodworkers to get out in the shop and build stuff. Because I think the hardest part, and this is after woodworking for 30 years, the hardest part is getting started.
Yeah. We're not looking to say, hey, look what we can do. We're trying to say, come on, you can do this.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's like the bench I'm building right now. I don't know if you saw that on my stories. It's a shaker bench.
I saw the pieces laid out.
Yeah, it's really simple. I saw it at the Shaker Museum in Hancock, Massachusetts. It's 2 steps, and there's a handle that goes up through the top step, about 38 inches tall, so you can grab it and it's just a piece of wood that goes up. It's just like the step just continues up. But it's a really, really simple thing. And I built it because I was like, okay, I want to build something that I need, that I can use. And I built it for the shop to get to my lumber storage. And then I brought it into the house last night to see if my wife could use it. And she wants it now. So, because it's easy to, just to get to that second shelf in the kitchen.
Cool.
Yeah, we have a little, just some junky metal. It's because the kitchen is in such disarray right now. Everything is just like a temporary.
What's the plan there?
I got to just buckle down and finish it.
I got a lot of projects in my house like that too.
Yeah.
It's the scary part is once you start, you're not going to be able to stop. Like, so you really have to.
Yeah. I'm at a point where it's like, it could go on like this forever. Technically, like everything we have a functioning kitchen. It's just,
But the hardest part is, where does everybody live when you're working on the kitchen? That's my dilemma.
Yeah, it's, it takes twice as long because every day is it's 25% setup, 25% breakdown, and 50% of the time you're actually working.
Can you put tools somewhere close by so you have a bench kind of like a miter saw or whatever set up?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I just have to attack it in like one or 2 day increments. Like, okay, this weekend I'm going to, run the flooring, and I'm going to do that. Make sure it's back up.
Do you have your subs do you have subs that you work with on a regular, like electrician, plumber? So you're going to do the electrical and plumbing?
I did all the electric.
Really? And you'll do the plumbing too?
Yeah, I did a lot of, some of the plumbing I hired out, but I did some of the other stuff.
Do you have, does it take a certain tool to do those shark bites?
Oh, I wouldn't recommend doing shark bites.
Really?
No, those are like a temporary kind of thing. But PEX is so easy.
So is it a certain tool that you use for PEX?
Yeah, so PEX is just it's cross-laid polyethylene pipes. It's tubing, really. I would call it tubing. And you cut it with, it can bend too. So like I have it where it comes in my basement, like comes and just sweeps up and goes up a bay. So I didn't even have to use any fittings there because obviously the less fittings, the better.
Yeah.
That's just one more point where something can leak. But then you can get either plastic or I got the brass stuff. So you get like brass elbows. So you cut the tubing, you put the elbow or whatever type of fitting inside, and then it's a metal, like a hose clamp. And you have a tool that you crimp it down with.
Is it a mechanical tool or a battery powered tool?
They make like battery ones, but it's easy to.
All right, because I saw something with Milwaukee has some kind of thing where it wraps around a pipe and.
Oh, that's like a Pro Press.
Okay,
that's for copper. Okay, so now they make copper fittings that actually have an O-ring on the inside, and you put it over the pipe and run that thing, and it compresses it down to the point where it's like a watertight.
Wonder what those tools go for.
They're getting cheaper, but they're expensive. They used to be like $5,000.
Really?
Yeah.
Just a handheld one like that?
Yeah.
It's motorized though, isn't it?
Yeah, Rigid was like the first, and not the plumbing Rigid, not like orange Home Depot Rigid. Let's see, Pro Press tool. Talking about like this.
Yeah. What's that thing? What's the price tag?
$800. Oh, this is a PEX press. Actually, this is not a Pro Press.
Okay.
Yeah. Here we go.
Yeah,
$3,800.
Wow.
And different sizes for different sizes of copper pipe. But yeah, the PEX thing you get. So this is like a PEX expander because they have fittings that are like, I guess like just like a pressure fit. So that actually goes into the end of the PEX and it opens up like this.
Gotcha.
And stretches it out, and then you can put in your fitting. But what I have is just like something like this, and I didn't even spend this much on it.
Okay.
So let's see, PEX clamp. Not clamp.
So you'll do the painting. So you're gonna do every part of it.
Oh yeah, I'm a jack of all trades. This is what the clamps look like. So you crimp down on this area here, and it tightens that thing down.
Okay.
And again, they have different kinds. They have ones that are just like a ring, and I think it's made out of copper. But like I got these stainless steel. You know, if you're going to do PEX, like at least spend a little bit more and get the brass and the stainless steel versus
steel. Could rust out.
God forbid you want.
Yeah, the wall.
Yeah. I mean, on Amazon, see, here you go. This is good. So they have those, which are just like a band, which I don't trust that.
Yeah.
I want that like mechanical, like it's almost like a ratchet strap made out of metal. But yeah, it's just a simple little thing. But, you know, it could be tough depending on where the pipe is oriented.
That's
you got to get that thing in there and squeeze it down. So, but it's pretty easy. But yeah, I'll run the floor. I'll do the paint.
What are you going to do for a floor?
I have solid vinyl, like, you know, LVP or whatever they call it, luxury vinyl plank.
How do you apply that?
It's like a floating floor. It just sits there.
So you just snap it together.
Yep.
You have to put a membrane underneath it?
Yeah, I have like a... it's like a foil faced and it has some additional padding kind of thing.
Can that go right over concrete?
Yeah.
Do you have to have a super level floor?
I mean, you'll feel like if it rolls, you know, it'll even it out a little bit, but you'll be able to feel. Because what'll happen is, you know, if you have like, you know, it might do something like this where it's touching here, you know, so you'll have like an air gap. But you can run like self-leveler maybe before if it's bad.
I'm just thinking of the basement too. So there's the kitchen I'd love to do, but I just don't even want to think about it until I have somewhere to put my family for a little while. The idea of like doing that work.
How much is a little while?
I don't know. I don't know. But the basement is got some potential. And that I don't really need to displace anybody.
Mm-hmm. How's the sauna endeavor going?
So it was a little bit of that. What do they call that?
Discovery. Yeah,
discovery, or when you're kind of researching too much, analysis paralysis.
Oh yeah,
a little bit of that.
That's my middle name.
Yeah, I'm over that though now. My biggest thing was really the wood, and I'm going to go with poplar. So you guys, I'll be. Yeah, ordering that through you guys.
Yeah, definitely.
We looks like we're going to be putting an order in soon, so piggyback on that
next week.
Maybe we're going to measure a job on Friday up in Montclair.
I got everything figured out, so now it's just that's really what it is.
Yeah.
And what I'll do is I'll show you guys so you understand what measurements I'm going for, because I don't know like how you buy lumber there, but you were saying bundles.
Yeah, it'll come in like a pack, they call it.
Okay. If there's more in the pack than I need, I'll always use poplar.
Yeah.
I know you guys use maple a lot. You don't really use that much poplar.
I mean, I don't like the way poplar paints.
I know. I like it. So I'll always use poplar. So
it's so cheap too. It's like,
cheap.
I got an extra 100 board feet of poplar at $1.85.
Exactly.
Like it's $185.
It's $1.65, but I think I'm going to have them dress it down to 3/4.
Yeah.
So it'll be $1.85.
Mm-hmm.
Mike was saying it's an extra 20 cents to dress it down to 3/4.
Yep.
And an extra 10 cents to dress it down to 7/8, I guess.
Straight line rip on one side.
Well, I should probably do that.
Yeah,
I didn't think of that.
It's probably like 10 cents a foot or something.
Yeah, it's totally worth it.
You can't beat that.
Yeah. So I'll do that too. I was thinking cherry because again of the price. And I thought cherry would be really nice on the inside. And so I posted a video asking the questions because I don't know. There's really like there's not really any very definitive answers out there. You'll read like what are the best woods, And poplar is one of the top 10 for best woods. So you've got your cedar, which is kind of a given, hemlock, pine.
Aspen,
I don't want to do,
I think, right?
Aspen, yep.
Spruce.
Basswood, spruce, and then poplar. So for me, the drawback on poplar was it's such a light color wood, it'll get dirty quickly. But then I saw the sauna at my son's gym, and that doesn't look great, and that's cedar. Also, I think it's really the benches that will get dirty. Mm-hmm. And the benches I'm going to make so they kind of just float on there, maybe 2 screws attached from the bottom. And from time to time, I might take them out and either sand them or power wash if I have to.
Mm-hmm. Usually put a towel down too, I feel like, right?
Definitely. And I'm going to say to them, because it's not a public place, it's just my family. So I'll tell my sons, put a towel down. Mm-hmm. And I might even put a rack, like a little rod in the back so you can hang a towel. Because Michael was saying that he likes to lean back.
Yeah.
And so that way you're not getting the oil from your skin on the wood and making marks that way. At the same time, it's a sauna. It's going to get used. It's never going to look as good the day that it goes in. So reasons why not to use cherry. There weren't that many, other than because cherry's a little bit more dense than poplar, it'll conduct heat more, so it will be hotter to the touch.
Okay.
That one, I thought, okay, I can think about that. So you're not really supposed to use knotty cedar either, because the knots are so dense, they'll be hot.
Yeah.
Of course, you're supposed to countersink any screws and peg them and all that. But the one thing that really got me to thinking was, one comment was, there's a higher amount of cyanide in cherry bark.
What?
I guess cyanide is a natural poison.
Yeah, it's in like apple seeds and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So
no,
apparently
that's arsenic.
Oh, okay. I think you might be right. So that was something that made me think, and I thought, okay, here I've got this space. I'm going to be heating it up to 200 degrees. I don't need to do that.
What a hell of a way to go.
Yeah. That's sort of like enough to be like, I can deal with the poplar. And shout out to the Lawn Whisperer. You guys follow the Lawn Whisperer?
No, but I saw you talking about him in the stories.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. He does a lot of work, does a lot of yard work, but also does a lot of like building stuff around his house. And he said that the sauna in his gym is poplar. And so I was like, if it's good enough for a public gym.
Yeah.
And that was... So that was basically the biggest question mark for me. And I didn't really want to go forward until I had that figured out. But now that we're talking about it, I'll just tell you some of my other thoughts. I'm going to frame the walls with 2x4s that I ripped down to 2 inches.
Yeah.
I'm going to fill the cavity with styrofoam insulation. I am going to create an air gap. So styrofoam insulation, then you put in, it's almost like a tinfoil, the whole, and it'll
be like the bubble wrap kind where it's like,
well, they have that, and then they have regular tinfoil. So I'm basically making squares like this, rectangles. So the sides will be made one rectangle. The backs and front will be 2 rectangles that join together because they're longer. And then on the inside, you'll get that foil, and then over the foil will be, I'll take some of the cutoff from the Douglas fir and turn that into 1/4-inch strips and create an air gap. And I'll just staple that, and then I'll make these things so when I bring them into the house, they'll be able to tie together. And then once it's all tied together and creates this cube, the outside I'll just cover with not Baltic birch, but regular birch plywood, maybe even pre-finished, and cover the seams with battens.
Yeah.
The idea with this is I have oil heat in my house, but gas is now available on the road. So one of the upgrades I want to make to the house is to get rid of the oil tank and convert to gas, which will entail getting a new furnace. So I don't want to make that bite. I don't want to make that jump yet. But the day that I do that, I want to be able to push this sauna where the oil tank is now. So I'm kind of making it sort of mobile.
Yeah.
There's not going to be any floor in it because it's on concrete. The idea there is I can put down boardwalks if I want to, just simple little boardwalks. I'll probably do them last. I don't know if I really need those. You don't really.
Won't the concrete like suck up a lot of the heat or no?
That's maybe, it's all high heat. So you need to have ventilation.
Yeah.
You need like a gap underneath the door and you need a vent up near the ceiling. So I don't really know about that.
Are you going to are you going to build the walls with the poplar and everything and then put it together? Or are you going to like put it together and then trim out the inside?
I'm going to try to build everything in 6 pieces, really 8 if you include the roof. Because the roof will be made with like something like just a flat piece of wood, but it's built the same way with the insulation. And the idea is to sneak it because the ceilings are 7 feet 6 inches, and I'm building the sauna 7 feet with an inside measurement of 6 feet 9 inches. So the idea is to put a cleat around the inside and then just kind of slide it in.
Yeah.
And slide it in and it'll drop into place. So, and then I have to figure out where's the light going to go. The light might go in through the side. You do need a small light.
Headlamp.
Yeah. Headlamp. My feeling is like I could be really rough at it and just the door would be enough light. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just like the idea I like the idea of going into the sauna, especially after the ice bath, which is a new thing. And I've been doing those now for probably almost 2 months. I love it. I'm actually addicted to it. I was in it today. Ice was in it today. 4 minutes. So it's like my wife was asking me what. Well, she probably wasn't asking me like, "Oh, why do you like that?" She was like, "What do you like that for?" You know what I mean?
You know what? Isn't it funny? My wife says stuff like that to me, and I'm like, "Why do you say it like that? What do you mean? What I say like that? I'm just asking." It's like, no, you're not asking.
She thinks I'm probably a little crazy or like a little over influenced by having these young 20-year-olds in my house because Michael started it. But so you're a mountain biker.
Yeah,
Rob's
I was 100 years ago.
Well, you remember the feeling of like getting to the top of a really, really hard climb.
Oh yeah. And, in Santa Cruz, there was one ride. It was 6 miles up in first and second gear.
So when you get to the top, it's like a state of euphoria, like
sort of.
Maybe a minute.
It's like a runner's high.
Maybe a minute after you stop pedaling. It's like this feeling. So my analogy for the ice bath is it's like climbing to the top of a mountain. That feeling you get without having to climb to the top of a mountain. So you go in. It's not even hard to get in now. You go in and then you just chill out. And then when you get out, you just feel great. And so I was doing it wrong in that I found it really, really easy to get into the ice bath after working out.
Mm-hmm.
But now I've read that it's better to go in the ice bath and then work out. And it really is. It's much, much harder to get into the ice bath. Like this morning, it was freezing cold.
Like the shock is what is the health benefit.
I think it wakes you up. And so what happens is I just go out in my underwear. So I'm like, it's freezing cold outside and I'm walking with bare feet on stone. I've done it in the snow too, where you're walking bare feet on the snow. And you...
Do you bring a towel?
I bring a towel and I just leave it outside. Yeah. So it's like not a warm towel or anything. Mm-hmm. You're totally beat red when you get out. But then you're so cold that you can almost, like I can barely like work my phone to try to like turn on a radio program or something. But then you start to work out and you work out until you get warm again. And I don't know, I'm just saying, like, I'm just an old guy trying to stay young.
When you get in, do you stay really still so that it's not as cold, or do you purposely move around so that it's colder? Because like the water around your skin is getting heated up by your skin. So if you stay still, you'll be a little bit warmer.
I just think it's freezing cold. I don't move at all. Sometimes I'll end up putting my hands on my legs just it's like a reflex, but that really keeps your hands warm. As soon as you take your hands away, and then when I realized that, I take my hands away, and your extremities are what freeze.
Yeah.
You know, it's like your feet, your toes, and your hands.
Oh yeah, your skin gets like hard. You know,
I'm telling you, like I told my wife, I said, you got to try it, and she won't try it. She might one day, but I'd recommend it to anybody unless you have a heart condition or something. I mean, I don't want to be responsible for you having a heart attack.
Yeah, but beware of shrinkage.
Yeah, that's definitely
some real shrinkage.
Yeah, I have to say, like my oldest son Jack does it religiously. Michael does it religiously, and Walter's doing it from time to time.
Oh yeah, he made it sound like it was not going to be something that he was doing.
He's only done it a handful of times. One was, I think, Saturday morning. He was like, "Yeah, I'm just going to do something to kind of get the blood flowing again."
Now, when you go in, do you step in and instantly submerge?
Absolutely.
It's like jumping into a pool. You just got to do it.
Yeah.
Right?
But you know what? So I just turned 56. I just realized I take my time. Like I don't jump into anywhere. Like I don't want to like twist my knee. I don't want to twist my ankle. So I just sort of step in and sit down. And I actually really look forward to it. I mean, yesterday I had to break the ice. This morning I had to break the ice.
Is there like an upper limit of how much you're supposed to do it?
They say the benefits, you get anything over 11 minutes a week is a benefit. And then, of course, you shouldn't stay in there to get hypothermia. But
is there a minimum like 30 seconds, not long enough? You got to go at least.
I think I heard that. So you'll hear different things from different studies all the time.
Yeah.
So what I heard was 30 seconds to 6 minutes, you'll get a benefit. I think anything over 6 minutes could be dangerous, I guess.
I'll say.
Today I did 4 minutes, no problem. And I like I did 3 minutes and then my alarm went off and I just breathe. So it's like roughly 8 to 10 breaths, really relaxing breaths for a minute. So I don't even look at the clock until I've breathed maybe 20 times. And by the time I look at the clock, it's down to seconds. It's down to like 56 seconds or 45 seconds.
So you set a timer? Like
I do. So I just set a timer on my phone, put it next to this little table, get in, and then
looking at the clock is a killer. It's like if you're like, I'm going to ride the stationary bike for a half hour. It's like if you look at that thing, it's going to only have been 3 minutes.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's absolutely true. So I don't. That's sort of like my mental mind game is to not look at the clock.
Yeah.
And then once I see that it's like a minute or less, then I know it's only 10 more breaths.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to a point where you're just sort of enjoying it. And then I really like lifting weights right after. And I think it's good for your joints and everything, inflammation. And I've noticed that my elbows don't hurt as much. I got to a point like 3 years ago where I injured myself doing pull-ups. One of those stupid things where you're like, oh, this hurts when I do pull-ups. I should probably do more.
It's because I'm weak.
So I got to the point where my right arm was so messed up. I felt it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still not doing pull-ups because I don't want to hurt myself, but I do curls, which is a very similar exercise. And I don't have those pains in my elbow anymore. So
you're doing free weights?
I do. I just work with dumbbells and bar, and I've got my gym is really, really like old school. I don't really need anything that's special.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I like those push-ups. I made these things.
So you can do push-ups with the like pipes and stuff like that. Yeah.
So you get a further extension.
Yeah.
Like 10 push-ups on those compared to regular push-ups is much, much harder.
Yeah.
So I'll do a couple of those to warm up. And
push-ups hurt my shoulders.
See, that's the thing. You get one of those injuries.
Yeah.
And now you can't
recover.
You can't recover.
I have right now like feels like a separated shoulder, where the collarbone separates. Trying to lift up a 5x9, just tweaked it. Well, it's a recurring thing, but I just tweaked it like last week or whatever. And now I'm like, man, like my freaking, like right here where the collarbone connects to your.
You got to go in the ice bath.
Yeah. Do they make like an electric one that will keep the water cold?
Yeah. So I'm sure that they make those. I think they're very expensive, and I'll have to cross that bridge when I get there.
Well, I have the hot tub outside that's currently turned off.
You should go for it.
I'm gonna have to clean it out though. It's probably like a freaking pond.
Is it have a lid on it?
Yeah.
So I definitely would never have done this without Michael. He went and bought this just barrel from Tractor Joe's, Tractor Supply.
You have to, I guess, in the summertime, you're gonna have to buy ice all the time.
That's gonna be a tough one. So I think what we're gonna do is just get like 2-gallon buckets and put them in the downstairs freezer and do it that way.
Yeah.
Or if I get really addicted to this, I might look into buying something like that.
I bet they have like I have like a big ice pack. It's like the size of this thing that you could put in like a cooler. It looks like just the kind that you would put in like a lunchbox. If you had like a bunch of those, then you could just put them in the morning and then take them out, put them back in the freezer. That's kind of the plan. Something like that where you have to be more on top. Right now, it's just so easy because the water's because it doesn't have to even have ice in it. If the water's 40 degrees, you're still getting benefits. I think it's anything that's, I don't know the science, but I think it's like anything below like 50 degrees, you're still getting that cold. Yeah. I would think anything below body temperature is putting some kind of shock in your system. Obviously 96 isn't going to be as good as 35, but.
Yeah, I don't know what the temps are. I just, it definitely, you definitely build up a tolerance though too, because I think going in the ocean will be a lot easier. Now the funny thing is, going in the ocean or putting your head underwater in cold water is not great for you. It's just not a good thing because you can end up getting like an extra bone built up in your ear. They call it surfer's ear. My son Michael has that. He's got it pretty bad. I've got it a little bit. So the doctors will be like, what's that? And then the one doctor's like, oh, you must have been a surfer. And apparently you have a bone buildup. And because Michael, I guess, just surfed a real lot in college down in Maryland. And it was all winter surfing. And so he has these, it's like a bone buildup that he's looked into it. And apparently the best way to deal with it is instead of drilling it out, it's the best doctors use a chisel. And so he actually showed me like how it works. But the point of the story is putting your head under super cold water is really not a great thing for you.
Huh. Never heard that. That's interesting.
I like in the summertime, if you've been outside and it's real hot and you take a shower, like finish it with the just straight cold water.
Yeah, that's nice. And that'll definitely cool you off. It's funny because I could do that where I'll just sort of finish off, but like Micah will take cold showers as we have the outside shower. And I can get into the ice bath, but I don't like to take a cold shower.
Yeah, it's like anything. I could do it if I had to, but like I just don't want to. I don't want to take a cold shower.
No, it's one more interesting fact about that surfer's ear is the way the operation with the chisel became, I guess, well known, are described as the best way is there was some doctor out in Northern California, and he had somebody come in to see him with this ear issue. And then he had another person. He kept getting people, and they turned out to all be surfers having this same problem. And it was always in their left ear. And that's because the predominant wind would be coming in that direction. And all the surfers would be sitting, looking out to sea to look at this, where the waves are coming from. So it was always like in their left ear. And Northern California obviously has very cold water and cold air. So this doctor, I guess, perfected this surgery.
This chiseling of the inner ear.
Yeah. Yeah. So Michael's Michael will like look for doctors and he'll find out how they do it. And he's like, no, that guy uses a drill. So
you could chisel it, you could drill it, or you could cut it using our sponsor.
There you go.
When you need the right saw blade for your surfer's ear, put your trust in Ridge Carbide Tools.
That's right. For over 50 years, Ridge Carbide has been producing industrial saw blades designed with exact specifications for the cutting results you expect.
Before you buy, give Ridge Carbide a call and they'll help you determine the right tool that meets your needs and your budget.
After the sale, Ridge Carbide provides sharpening services for all your saw blades, dado sets, router bits, and jointer planer knives.
Located in Kansas, Ridge Carbide Tools provides high-quality products with outstanding customer service at a fair price. What are you cutting? Yeah, sent off, I think 10 or 11. It might have been 9. 9 blades today.
Do they charge you by the tooth?
Yeah, so actually I have the pricing list right here. It's so like your typical blade is 40 teeth. That's $20. Let's see. Up to 12 teeth, $15. 13 to 24, $18. 25 to 40, $20. 41 to 60, 22, 61 to 80, 25, 81 to 100, 27, 101 to 120 is 30. And then, if it's like 14 to 16 inches at $3.50, 17 to 20 inch blades add $7.
That's a frightening size.
$6 to replace a tooth, $12 to straighten a bent tooth.
It's really pretty economical.
So you might be able to send a blade there if it got set off with the saw stop.
Oh yeah.
What's a blade go for? I'm sure they're all different prices. But
I'd say like 150 is okay. Maybe a little bit less.
Okay, so it's definitely worth.
Oh yeah.
We sent out over $1,000 worth of blades to get sharpened.
Yeah,
it was $208. Also,
and they'll all be brand new.
Yeah. We're gonna have 2 of them rebored, so they do that as well. So like we have, it's the DFL 1080. Are you
gonna have them reboard for the Festool?
For the Streebig. So have like a 10-inch blade that we used to use on the saw stop, and I'm gonna have it reboard so that we can use it on the Streebig. And we have a solid surface blade, same thing. It's got a 5/8 inch bore. We're gonna have it reboard up to 30 millimeters with pinholes.
I wonder what the Capex is. Because I could have a blade reboard for that.
Yeah, it's probably, I don't know. It's not like the metric equivalent to 5/8. Something special.
Yeah, something special. That's one of the drawbacks of in my view.
What size is bore Capex?
Think about all the reels you'll be able to make.
30 millimeter.
Think about all the reels you'll be able to make when you pull the protective coating off of those blades.
The road to a million followers.
There's something weirdly satisfying about pulling that goop off.
Yeah.
You have to like hire someone to wear a bikini and do it.
Yeah.
That's our next step. We have to get like the tool time girl.
We'll do is stand outside, wait for somebody to walk by.
Yeah.
We better thank our other sponsor too, Unita. Man, I used the 3x4 sander this morning with that EcoSilk sanding pad, which is like their foam pad that has the grit impregnated into it to scuff that countertop. And I put a little reel out, and you could see, because it's a really dark stain, like the whole thing turned white from the scuffing. And I said, like, man, if you're still doing this by hand, you're crazy, because it takes so much less time, and you get such a consistent scuff, And
how much are those little
the sander?
Those little pads.
Oh, the pads.
Each pad.
I forget what we paid. Let's check it out. Sandpaper.com, and you can save 15% using the code Joinery 15 JOINERY 15. EcoSilk. Come on, pop-ups. You get this is a variety pack. You get $24.50 for a box of 25. So $1 a piece.
Wow.
Not bad. It's about the same price as your typical sanding disc, depending on who you're buying it from.
Yeah. I'm still old school sander.
I know you have a 3x4. It's from a lesser brand.
Yeah, I do. I don't use it that much. I have to. I have an issue with the dust collection on it.
It's not that good.
No, the connection port isn't. I tried to make it fit, and it doesn't.
Oh yeah, we got to get one of these.
We just fixed that.
Where is it? Tools, accessories, hose adapters. So they sell them on this is what you need. So this screws into the sander. This accepts the hose. So we bought one on Amazon from this guy, Tool Curve. I don't want to talk any trash about him. He's pretty well known on social media. He 3D prints a lot of different stuff, but it's a 3D printed dust adapter, and it has this on the one side, and then on the other side, as opposed to being the male version that the hose goes onto, the hose goes into it. So it's real big and it's super chunky.
I wonder why we would do it that way. I wonder why we design it that way.
I don't know, but it fell once and broke. So and like $25 out the,
$25. Holy cow.
And these are only 18 from Unita.
Okay.
And this is injection molded, 3D printed can only be so strong.
Yeah.
And these actually fit in the Dynabraid too.
Yeah, I used mine today.
Yeah, it works great.
Yeah, like those sanders. The first time you guys used them was up in Maker Camp?
The Unitas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen them around now. I saw Corey using one.
Yeah. I had about half a dozen people or so tell me that they bought one.
Nice.
Getting rid of that air hose and stock vacuum hose made the Dynabraid completely usable now. Yeah,
we had like these it was a whip hose and air line for the Dynabraid that stayed attached to it. And it was like, 6 or 8 feet long. So then it was like...
Made it unusable.
Just like all over the place all the time, just like in the way.
So you don't use that sander at all, or you changed it?
So we took off the hose. It was just a hose that was like hard plumbed into the sander. Took that off, put a swivel coupler on there, and then got that adapter. So now the Festool hose goes right onto the Dynabraid. Whereas before you had to use like a 1-inch hose, and then like you're like stuffing the inside of the Festool. It was a nightmare.
It's 1,000% better.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even close. I mean, world of difference.
Yeah.
It's amazing once something works well for you, then you use it.
Right. Because I didn't want to use it before.
Yeah, then you just won't use it. Like I have tools that I just don't use, just things that, like that sander. It's because the connection for the hose isn't right.
Yeah.
I don't use it. I use that old crappy DeWalt.
I don't know why they make you know what it is? They make them for their own proprietary vacuums. That's the problem. It's like a 1-inch hose, and same thing with Unita. They want you to use the Unita vacuum. Surf Prep wants you to use the Surf Prep vacuum.
Can't we all just get along?
I mean, it should just come with this, and then if you don't use it, you don't use it.
Should just come with, okay, yeah.
Like
I'm surprised they
in the
didn't
box.
send you a vacuum. I mean, it's just more to talk about.
Yeah, I know. You hear that, guys? We need 2, though.
Yeah.
1 for me, 1 for Rob.
You need 3.
I mean, we could use them all over the shop. Honestly, I'd love to have like a cart that has the lamello, the 2 dominoes, and a vacuum set up. Another one of those plastic carts, vacuum on the bottom, the 3 things on the top.
Do you use the lamello that much?
I use it a lot this past week.
Yeah, you have actually. Those
it's
miters.
it's like anything. You're way more likely to use it if it's easy. If I don't have to open the drawer, open the box, pull it out, hook it up to the vacuum,
totally
put it on the hose, then it's like, oh man, I could use the lamello here and just use it real quick.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know where that little model went, but I had I put that little bend in the leg, and I did that with the sander. And I was like, I got to go get that belt sander out of the drawer that's way over there. Then I got to clamp it to the, I'm thinking of, I probably spent 5 minutes thinking of another way to possibly do it.
Yeah.
Instead of just going over there and getting the sander. It's funny how you'll I saw, is it Streamline? Is Streamline Woodworks. He's the guy. I see him a lot.
He makes the direct eye contact.
Yeah, he's funny.
Yeah.
I like him.
His account has grown fast.
Yeah, he's doing good. He did this reel about how he was cutting lap joints with his regular saw. And I'm like, yeah, I do that all the time.
Yeah, he was like, rather than take the 5 minutes to change out the dado blade. Yeah.
That's kind of a funny way that he came up with doing just the staring thing and doing that voiceover. It's like pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. There will come a day where it's like, all right, can we do something new now? But, because like I'm here for the woodworking.
Sure.
I want to teach me something that I don't know. Yeah. The gimmick is cool, but
I saw one thing there on his account that I had just done a couple of days before, which is like, I guess they call it a bump cut, where you bump the molding into the blade, then pick it up. I never heard of that term, a bump cut, but I've always just done it where you...
Yeah, I mean...
What, to like slice off a little
just take
hair?
it off a hair,
Okay.
Yeah, because the teeth are wider than the plate of the saw.
Yeah.
So when you hit the plate and then you bring it up, you just take off like...
I made a YouTube video.
I didn't know it was called that either.
I didn't know it was called that. I just said, this is something I do. I made a YouTube video probably 6 or 8 years ago. And then the other day I thought, oh, I'm doing it. I might as well make a quick reel. And it does work. It's just...
Yeah. You can like push the blade too.
That's what I've done usually.
They like really like wrench it and then you get a heavier cut.
Yeah.
But if you buy a Ridge Carbide blade, ain't no chance that baby's bending.
Probably not.
That's high quality.
No way.
Well, we're going to the woodworking show on Sunday.
Yeah.
And we'll see Ridge Carbide there.
Yeah. I think the guy who, like the original owner of Ridge is the guy that does those.
That's who I bought
shows.
my Ridge Carbide blade from probably 4 or 5 years ago. I'm actually in the market for another blade, but we'll see. I don't like spending money. I'm like, I could use it. I can still use that. Actually, I'm in the market for a truck.
Oh, man. Oh, talk about not wanting to spend money.
That's the thing.
Holy cow.
I can't get over how much trucks have gone up since my last one. So I lease.
You're looking at like 60, 70K.
I might be borrowing Walter's Pilot, which is mine. Walter was showing me a truck that he's thinking about buying. I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea. You should buy a truck because I just don't care.
What's he looking at? Tacomas?
He's looking at a Ford Ranger used. So he's thinking like, I'm just going to buy something that I feel is, safe enough, or
run it into the ground.
Yeah, and just not have a car payment. He's all of my sons are very financially responsible. They really think about like Jack bought a used car. Michael's not in any. They're just they think about everything. They don't put money on credit cards or without paying them off.
Yeah.
You know what it is? They're tuned in to all these financial advisors on the internet. So they're pretty savvy that way. Anyway, my lease is up in the middle of March, and
it's coming fast.
Oh my God. So I went and looked at them the other night and I was like, this is insane. I mean, I don't know how much I need. I'm thinking of, riding my electric bike. Now, I'll probably get a truck, but I mean, it's just incredible.
So you got a Ford F-150 now, right? Or
So I looked at a lease for a similar one. One number I got is 35 down,
$850 a month,
$679.
That's not bad.
Still,
that you got to pay tax and title and tags out of pocket, though. No,
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
So look.
that's one thing you got to, because that's like what's 6 5/8% on 65,000.
I think you have the option to do that.
Or they roll it into your payments.
That's what I mean. They'll roll it in, yeah.
So the truck that I'm at right now is $528. That's doable. I'm like, okay, I don't mind that.
I pay $502 or something.
And I'm like, okay, I can wrap my brain around that. But all of a sudden, it's getting to be like I know people who are spending almost $900 a month in car payments. I'm like,
the van's $880.
That's crazy.
And that's a financed, but leases. I had the Ram, and then I liked it, so I was looking at other Rams, $750, $850 a month. I'm like,
what were you originally at?
That Ram was $369. My first Ram was $274 a month.
It's just insane to me.
Now the Tacoma, I'm paying $500.
And I like the Tacoma, like Jack has the truck. It's not as nice as, it's not as new as yours.
Mm-hmm.
But I sometimes need to put a few people in there. Like, so you have three people.
It's cramped.
I can't, like, we'll have 5 people in there.
Yeah.
You know, I'll have, and the funny thing is I drive my daughter around and there'll be like 4 girls in the back and my daughter in the front. And they're fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
you might not have to do that anymore if you get a Tacoma.
Yeah. I don't know what I'll end up doing, but I'm just pretty shocked at how high they've gone.
It's crazy. You know, I leased my little SUV at the height of scarcity. You know, like we've had Volkswagens for many, many years. So we went to the Volkswagen place. They had like 1 or 2 Volkswagens, like SUVs there. And so it was like $600 and something a month, nothing down. Guy goes, okay, you know, it's a holiday weekend. Come back on Tuesday and, you know, this will be here for you. Okay. Well, somebody came and took it
that night.
Yeah. And so I had nothing. So we went to the Mercedes place where we got the van. And, you know, I'm not really a Mercedes guy, like, you know, driving around a Mercedes. You know, this problem was I sent my wife there and she loved it. So we got this Mercedes SUV and it's like $670 or something like that. It's a lot of money.
You're leasing it.
Yeah.
And do you like it?
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But you know,
how many miles did you get?
Like, I think I got 12,000 a year, but okay. I think I've only put like 2,000 miles on it.
You don't put a lot of miles on. So I'm going to be right there. I get 15 a year.
Yeah.
And I'm at 40. I just hit 43.
Yeah.
So I'll return it underneath the mileage.
Yeah.
But
so will I.
The only reason why I can justify it, if I end up doing this thing for the 679,
mm-hmm.
my only justification is my wife and I share the car.
Yeah.
Because we both work from home and I'm just not going to have $1,500 of car payments sitting out in the garage.
So you have one car for the two of you.
Yeah. So we have 3 cars total because Michael drives our little Civic that we bought when the kids
mm-hmm.
were little. The boys were younger. And then Walter drives the Pilot that we bought when the family was younger. So we have those cars and we'll get those cars back at some point. So for instance, when we go to the woodworking show on Sunday, I'll pick you up at your
mm-hmm.
house.
Yeah.
My wife will have one of those cars. So she won't be without a car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's easy enough because the boys are, you know, they're mostly home, or if Walter's at his girlfriend's house, his girlfriend will pick him up. Or
how's your wife like driving the pickup?
She loves it.
My wife too. Anytime she ever drove she would always want to drive it, and I just don't like her driving my trucks, but she loves it.
Yeah,
she's like, man, I think I want a pickup.
Well, you know, it's the parking. It's so funny. My wife will look in the mirrors, like and I'm like, why are you looking in the mirrors? Just look at that screen right there. You can see everything.
People who do like the arm. And
I have a hard time trusting the camera.
Oh, the camera's unbelievable.
I told him I'm going to get him some tennis balls for the van because it's in there all cattywampus right now.
What's that?
The van, it's like, you know.
I had a back.
You know how they do in Florida where they hang the tennis ball from the...
Yeah, I know. You don't have cameras in the van?
Oh, yeah, we do.
And it's like 9 feet in the air, like with this bird's eye view. You could see like...
It's wild how, like, because you can see the truck, but it's like a photograph. It's like a photograph of the truck, because if I have something in the truck, you don't see that.
Yeah, yeah. Some of the like the Fords and stuff have that crazy. Yours has like side view,
360 degrees. It shows
the front of it. Yeah, it shows like the front of the car. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, it's, the sad thing is all that safety stuff is there because people used to run over people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you look at the Lightning at all? They probably don't have any.
That thing is
90,000 probably.
But that thing is like killing Ford. I mean, they'd probably give that thing away.
I heard that they're not even giving the subsidy on that because the batteries are made in China.
Well, I think they're losing so much money on all these electric vehicles, unless people, especially the pickup trucks, because they don't have the distance.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I were thinking of getting something, first of all, I've got the EcoBoost in the truck.
Yeah.
I think that's great. It's like 20 miles on highway.
Yeah.
Does really, really well.
What are you getting in the Toyota?
Not that great. 17, 18, maybe 16.
But that's the funny thing. Like the Pilot, our Honda Pilot isn't as good as the truck, as the pickup truck.
Well, yeah. I mean, the technology has been,
Yeah.
because that's probably got the V6 in it.
It does. It has the V6 EcoBoost, and it's fast. So, I mean, I really do like that truck. Oh, the other option is to buy the truck.
Oh,
so
I was going to ask
the
about
truck
that.
is, for me to buy, it'd be $38,500. So,
and then what's the interest rate right now?
Yeah, so there's.
I went through the same thing with mine.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been like I was paying $369 a month. It would have been $5 something to finance it for 5 years. I'm like, but then I have a truck that's 8 years old, and then it's going to start to break down.
Oh yeah.
So
And they
I
don't
wouldn't
last.
worry as much with a Honda, but like a Dodge.
Oh yeah,
Dodge or a Ford. So these the two Hondas that we have, they just never die.
they'll run a million miles.
Knock on wood. But anytime, like when back in the day, we had minivans, like we had Chrysler minivans, because we're minivans with all these kids. Holy cow, those things were just money pits, and they would just break down. Transmissions would go. You'd get just beyond the warranty, and the transmission would go.
And it's even worse now. The cars have just gotten crappier and crappier.
Yeah. So like if this was like one of the larger, is it the larger Toyota makes something that's pretty big?
Yeah, Tundra.
Yeah. If this was that, then I would really consider, just buying it, and because it'll go forever.
Yeah, Toyota.
I'm not going to buy an American car. It sounds terrible. And I'm all about, made in America, but they just break.
Yeah, if the quality's no good, then
And they
On
cost
purpose.
a fortune to
They
fix.
break on purpose.
Did you look at the Tundra at all?
I'm gonna. So that's the thing. I've got, T minus like 30 days and counting to like.
Going to the dealer sucks.
Oh, I hate going
It's
to the
horrible.
dealer.
Yeah.
And if you try and do it online, all they want to do is call you.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, I'm just trying to check the price on this thing. They're like, when would you like to come in? It's like, I don't want to come in. That's the thing.
That's why I'm online.
Can you just tell me the price?
We went to Tom's. I bought my truck at George Wall.
Okay.
Where's that up? By Home Depot?
It's,
By getting on the Parkway?
yeah. No, that's Tom's.
Oh,
That's Tom's. The other one is down by the Lowe's, further that way. Hazlitt area,
okay.
I think. I always get them confused. So anyway, we went to Tom's, which is the one that's by the Parkway, right where the intersection of 36 is.
With the big flag.
Yeah. And really nice people, no pressure. And we went in like 40 minutes before they were going to close because I didn't want to waste a day there. I didn't, and they were nice and they gave us the numbers. So I kind of little bit know more about what I'm dealing with. And now I can decide, but I'll go check out where I bought it from. And it's funny because I was talking to George Wall. They had called me and I told them the deal. And I said, they're like, oh yeah, we can probably match that. I'm like, really? But we'll see what they say when I actually go in there.
It's going to cost a lot no matter what. I mean, it's the state of things.
So, it's funny. I saw
It's a write-off.
Yeah, right off. That's the funniest thing ever. I saw an Instagram blurb the other day that the medium rental price now is like $19.76, and I'm like, and so for that price, minimum wage needs to make it all work out needs to be like $36.50. So I'm like, how much longer is this going to continue?
My wife asked the same question because, you know, she goes food shopping almost every day. You know, she's retired. So.
Well, you guys shop at Whole Foods, too.
Whole Foods, all the high-end places.
Yeah, because it's just the two of us.
Yeah. And, you know, we both agree the last thing we're going to skimp on is what we eat. You know, we don't do anything. We don't go on vacation. I don't have any bad habits, really.
None that cost money.
Right. I mean, I don't have any bad habits that cost money. So we get what we want. So she knows the price of everything. And generally, I don't like to know because stuff's just too expensive.
Sure.
But like, so I like half and half of my coffee. And she's like, this used to be $4.79. Now it's $6.99. You know, like substantial increases in every grocery item.
And shrinkflation on top of it, where they're making the sizes smaller, but keeping the prices, raising the prices or keeping them the same.
I mean, not just like was $4.79, now it's $4.99.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like,
and the crazy thing is that all of these corporations who own these food companies and all this, they're making record profits.
Exactly.
It's not like, well, you know, we had to raise prices because it's like, well, yeah, but you're making more money now than ever.
So she says, like, when is it going to stop? Like, what? I mean, how much longer can we hang on?
I don't know. That's the thing. Like, I keep waiting for the shoe to drop. I mean, I just feel like it's really a precarious situation.
And we're some of the luckier ones.
That's what I mean.
I mean, we work our asses off. But, you know, we got low interest rate mortgages. Yeah. We got, you know, we don't live beyond our means.
No, it's crazy.
We run pretty tight ships.
And we think this is a purchase. I'm really thinking about that. You know how many people just like, oh, I need a new truck, and they just go out and buy it, and then they end up with some gigantic.
I'm shocked at all the new vehicles I see on the road.
Do you know what's at an all-time high is repossessions. Repossessions, credit card default. Everything is at an all-time high. So how is this continuing? How does this continue?
So we watched the thing yesterday. I had seen it before, but I wanted to show it to Rob.
Yeah.
It was about quote unquote crappy jobs and like the Protestant work ethic, which is like the harder you work, the better you are kind of thing.
Yeah.
And how you should devote yourself to work and blah, blah, blah. And this guy, it's like a video essayist, basically he's just,
it was good
talking to the camera. But he was saying like pre-industrial revolution, the fruits of your labor were a direct representation of how hard you worked. And the amount of money you had was a direct representation of how hard you worked, because if you worked really hard and made a really good product, you had money, because that's how it works.
Mm-hmm.
You were making this thing and people were buying it. Post-industrial revolution, when you're a cog in a gear in a factory and all you do is you take this thing and you put it on there, if you work twice as hard as a guy next to you, how does anybody know? When you're in
quantify it.
Yeah, when you're in a social, when you look at it in terms of a community or a social aspect. So that was the rise of conspicuous consumption, because the way that you showed Rob how successful you were is because you bought nice clothes and you bought a car and you bought this and that. So, it's
just
like
on YouTube.
Yeah.
If you can send me a link, I'd love to see it.
Yeah, it was good. He's got a lot of good ones. But yeah, it's like almost like people like lost a portion of their identity, when the Industrial Revolution came, because we've talked about it before. Yeah. It's like you used to have a trade, and now what sort of identity do you have if you're just a cog in a wheel,
It's funny, because I'll say to my wife, I'm like, well, I don't really have a lot in common with a lot of people around here, because they're not taking care of their own home. So I can't talk to them about that. It's just weird. It's just I don't have that much in common with a lot of these people who just hire a service for everything, which, hey, I don't have a problem with that. And it's great for the service that they're hiring.
Right. They're giving
I'm just saying that I don't have much to talk to some people, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
their identity is, we're going to Bermuda next month.
yeah,
and then-
100%.
you
Yeah,
know.
it's just like these incredible. We were just out in Vail. We did heli skiing, and I'm like, oh, wow.
Yeah,
Pretty cool.
There's nothing wrong with that, but
I'm like, I raked my leaves yesterday. It was really rewarding. I felt great.
yeah,
It's just, but there's so much truth to that. Now, the interesting thing about prices on services just going so
Through the
high,
roof.
it makes me reconsider, like, because I've been doing YouTube now for 12 or 13 years. And like, I love shooting our videos, but a lot of the videos I make with what I'm doing, I'm just like, I feel like I've done this before. You know, I'm being really critical and getting bored with what I'm editing.
Mhm.
So I'm producing less, and like I'm actually enjoying this little shaker table or stool that I'm making now. So I'm going to continue to do that. But I'm starting to toy with the idea of maybe I want to work for a plumber, see if I can find a good plumber who will allow me to work for him for only 3 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe. So for 3 days a week, I won't get burnt out. I can kind of do some of my own thing, and I'm learning a trade. And so what's the value to him? The value to him is it's somebody who can do things, can drive places, can talk to, you know, I know what it's like to have somebody who can actually, you know, put a thought together and actually, you know, be left on a job and do something.
yeah. That's like the top. You know, that's a prerequisite for anything. It's
Yeah.
like if you can't do that, then you could teach anybody to be a plumber, but you can't teach that. You know.
Yeah. So I'm entertaining all these different ideas. Like, do I want to do some electrical work? Do I want to, be a plumber and learn these skills? Because maybe in 5 or 6 years, I want to build a little house or something, because we have that land up in Vermont.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd be like, okay, maybe I'm not gonna do all the electric myself, but maybe I would do certain areas just to have that confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also something to be said about just continually growing and learning new skills, you know, and also not always working by yourself, because I've been working by myself now for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
What about Mike the plumber?
Yeah. Mike's drain cleaning.
did you say drain? I don't clean drains. No, I'm kidding.
Not yet.
Trust me, I know plumbing isn't all fun and games. It's like you think, oh yeah, you're just an electrician. That's easy. And then it's like 95
wires.
95 degrees. You're pulling wires in an attic.
Yeah. Well, that was another thing on that video. He was talking about, like the show Dirty Jobs.
Yeah.
About, how on this show, most of the video was about how corporations now are sort of like advertising this like heroic nature of like blue collar workers and this and that, but then really in the background they're kind of just like kicking everybody in the balls.
Yeah.
He used this great word, valorizing.
Yeah.
Valorizing?
Yeah.
And with the show Dirty Jobs, it's kind of similar, where he goes to this the shit shoveling factory, and he's not talking to the shit shoveler. He's talking to the guy that owns the business. So it's like
in a clean shirt.
Yeah, labor has become a commodity is not the right word, but it's like they put a value on the labor that goes into producing something, and I'm not sure how to articulate this. Basically, like they're using labor as like an advertising tactic, where like, look how hard they had to work to make this thing. It's, therefore it's quality and you should buy it. But, they're still treating the worker like garbage. They got no workers' rights. They're not getting paid enough, But Ford is like, we got these guys working on the assembly line. Meanwhile, they jack the price of the truck up.
Yeah. Are you a working man? Drive a Ford truck. Yeah. Yeah. Spend the rest of your life paying it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's all out of whack.
I don't know what's going to fix it. I think it's a total shit show, but I just sort of put your head down and just do what you got to do every day.
That's all we can do is, we get up, put our boots on and come to work.
That's all you can do, because no matter how you feel about anything that's going on right now, doesn't mean shit.
No.
You're not going to be able to do anything about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like there's just so much bullshit out there today that I just like shake my head. I'm like, I don't know how this is going to continue. You know, and that's, I try not to pay attention. Sometimes something catches my ear and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. Well, you and I, me a little bit more than you, are of the age where it wasn't so screwed up. It really wasn't. You know, like the cost of housing and the cost of and the price you were paid.
So that's the thing. Like I'm driving my son to the boat today because my wife needed to use the car. So there we go. You know, we're using one car. And we go past some house. It was for sale. And Michael's always looking at real estate. And he goes, that's $670. I'm like, that house is $670. I'm like, that's a huge mortgage. That's a huge down payment. And then so you're talking like $5,000 a month just to have this house that needs a lot of work and is not in a great area or in a great road, a lot of traffic. It's just out of, it's totally
like,
out of, so who's going to buy that house? I'm thinking like, what?
Some investor, and then they're going to rent it out to.
So that's the problem. That's what's killing the American dream. You have like BlackRock is buying houses, buying up all these houses and then renting them. I don't know if it's just BlackRock. I just heard that somewhere, so I might not even know.
That's one of the big ones. What's the other one? Is it Berkshire Hathaway? Is other?
I'm not.
Which is that seems so counterintuitive to making society work,
right? But no one wants. No one's willing to admit that the government needs to step in and say, hey, maybe we shouldn't let these people buy up all these properties.
Yeah.
Because they want, you know,
free
whatever,
market,
quote unquote, free market, small government. But you can't have your cake and eat it too, you know? If you want to have affordable housing, somebody's got to do something to make sure that is attainable.
And not just like 24 units built on the edge of Homedale. That, like, Did you see those houses that they built on Kings Highway? We may have talked about that. I think those are like $800,000 a piece.
Oh, behind the Clown liquor store? Yeah.
Like,
and it's junk. You know,
it's townhouses.
Toll Brothers or Hovnanian or whatever.
No, it's junk. It's Toll Brothers. You see the flags flying.
Yeah. Who's going to go live there?
I don't know. But I mean, like 800,000. Like that's like,
and you're on top of the guy next to you.
So they have that party. Now you're listening to a party. So you get a bad neighbor. You know, that's like right above you. You're paying $800,000 to have some guy bouncing around at 2:00 in the morning. I don't know.
It's crazy.
I don't know what's going to happen. I just know everything just seems bizarre. And it's not just here. It seems like it's everywhere.
It is.
Yeah. The cost of living is just, you know, has gone up so much.
But even like houses around here, where our location, right where we are right now, are through the roof.
Oh yeah, I mean, I bought my house for $250 back in 2021 or whatever it was, 2020, 2021, and it's like almost doubled.
I mean, that's good for you. It's just bad for society.
But what good does it do me? Because I can't leave and go anywhere else.
No.
So it's all relative, you know?
Right. It's not like he's got that extra $250 in cash.
Right. If I sold it, I would just be able to buy some other dump.
Isn't that crazy though?
That's it. We're stuck in our spots. Like, you know, like clearly the house that my wife and I live in, it's too much for us now. You know what I mean? It's too big. I'm just, you know, I'm burnt out.
You got a big piece of property there.
Fixing it up, you know, like lots of stuff starting to run down. But I can't go anywhere. I can't go. What am I going to do?
That was like my parents. They were looking at selling their house where I grew up and my dad grew up. And they were like, what are we going to do? Move into an apartment?
This is on a different topic, but can you turn your old shop into an apartment?
It would take, I'd have to run some plumbing out there.
That's not hard, but can you do it?
I don't know.
Would you be allowed to do it? Because that would be
for business. I mean, you could probably put like a actual like hotel.
Yeah, I have a B3 zoning.
So you could turn that into a house. You got $2,000 a month coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a $4,000 a month house right there. In these times,
that would be a big place.
You know what's happening? You know, they just announced that the World Cup or whatever is going to be at MetLife in 2026. Yeah. People like the Airbnbs and stuff. People are going to make a killing.
Wow. Maybe I should be renting my house.
My wife was saying like a year ago, she's like, we should turn the garage into an Airbnb. I don't want anybody in my backyard though.
That's my problem too. I mean,
you could put up a privacy fence though, like where your driveway is. You could have a privacy fence so your guests could stay on it. You could build a deck.
Oh yeah, I mean it's totally doable.
Yeah. You could have the driveway go straight back all the way to the corner and then turn so that you kept all the lawn.
Mm-hmm.
Then nobody would see you out there in your ice bath in the morning.
Yeah.
There's so many things.
I got the porch. You know, I got to repaint the porch. I got to scrape the paint off the thing. It's like it's never ending.
I know the feeling. Yeah.
And you know, it's not that I do it because I can do it. It's that I don't think I can afford to pay somebody to come and do all this stuff.
You have a hard time finding somebody to do it right.
Right. Like I'm just going to have to do it on the weekend. That's just all there is to it.
It's hard to find someone for what you're willing to pay to do it right because it's not a job that they're doing all the time. It's not like you're not like a contractor. The only way is like if you know a contractor and you can somehow borrow their subs, you know, you'd have to be like really friendly with that contractor because they're not going to want to let that go.
Yeah.
But I feel the same way. There's a lot of projects where I'm like, wow, I would like to do that. Or I would like to have that done, but I know it's going to not be done the way I want it to be done. So I'll end up doing it myself. I'm still at the point where I'll probably do it a lot of things myself.
Yeah, me too. I mean, but it's more out of necessity than anything else.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like sometimes I'll turn that into content and then I can sort of make it pay for itself.
Yeah.
But I have to tell you, it kind of kills any joy that you might find on the job trying to like, you know, you're going to sheetrock a wall or whatever. Now you're going to set up a camera. And
Rather than just do it, you're like, all right, how am I going to explain? You know, I got to explain this and show that. And
so it's sort of not worth it. I'll probably just end up, unless you maybe set up something to have a what do they call that?
Like a time lapse.
Time lapse. And then you do but even that becomes work. I was shooting the videos on this shaker stool that I'm going to post in 2 weeks, I think. And I really liked the project, but I was really hating moving the camera around. And you know what I mean? It's just like, it's like anything. You do anything enough and it'll...
Yeah, you need a fresh start.
Yeah, you need to step back and you need to either stop doing it altogether or stop doing it for 6 months. So anytime something becomes just work, then it's time to like reevaluate.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I felt that way about the band. I've been playing music my whole life. Things started going in a direction I didn't want to go. I'm like, I quit.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I'd rather stay at home. I'd rather not do that thing that's just not fun anymore because it's not what it used to be. You know, it's like things change.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know what? That's what they say. Everything changes and there's like a 9 or 10 year cycle. And like I love building things and making something from nothing. And I like maintaining things. I actually do like, you know, like painting the house. You get a satisfaction if you have the time to like, you know, get something done. It's pretty cool. It's the, you know, it just becomes sort of weird. Like you're documenting every single little thing you do and you're like ready to do something and get it done. You're like, oh man, I should go get the camera and the tripod.
Yeah.
And now you're like, now, so like if I take I probably won't. I'm never going to quit making videos, but I'll probably just make less projects and things that I consider furniture. But what I'll do is maybe take just more. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to definitely take a little bit of a break from banging out so many projects all the time.
Yeah,
maybe just one every 2 months, because I don't think it matters anyway. And I really enjoy coming over here and not even shooting the videos. That's fun. Editing the videos is really fun for me because I get the B-roll and I can sort of make it all to go together. And I'm not always aware of what's going on because I'm videoing. When I get back and start editing, then I see, oh, that's what, Jeff or Rob said at this certain point. This is good, or I'm going to cut that, or whatever. And the same thing with the videos that I'm starting to make with Peter and that's a whole different realm because that's more of like going out and seeing other people. And then all you do is you just keep the camera on them and take B-roll and then try to make it all make sense down the road. So I'm still doing all the same stuff I always did, but I definitely see a slowdown in trying to produce as much content. At least that's how I feel like in the last couple of days or weeks.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people feel that way, though, who have been doing it as long as I have.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Especially because it's become, more widespread, more competitive, it's another race to the bottom where, people are willing to do things for nothing and, things that take real work and because they're doing it just as a hobby, Yeah,
I think if I can figure out a way to have purpose behind it, that would make it better. If I was building something for someone, not even for them to buy, but like say like some, I don't want to say charity, but like something that would then end up using it somewhere, or let's say I did end up doing an Airbnb, then I was building furniture for the house.
Yeah.
Then I would be more inspired to build it. But right now I'm building this shaker step stool because I will use it in my shop, but also I'm like, I really need to build something to put on my channel.
Yeah, and we talked about it. I forget if it was with you or it was with Walter about, how when you're just left to your own devices and you're like, I have to build something and there's no parameters or guidance. Like we're lucky where the client says, I need this, it has to be this big, blah, blah, blah. So it's easy. We just draw it and, but when you're like, I really should build a spec piece of furniture, that's a lot of pressure to come up with an idea, the whole thing. It's all on you. There's no guidance, from anyone else. It's like, man, that's like a lot of pressure.
It is. It is, especially if you're like designing it. And so like this little thing that I'm doing now, I didn't design it, although I will sell plans for it. I just saw it in a museum and I'm sort of refiguring it from there. But I guess the joy that I'll get from that piece is I do see a lot of beginner woodworkers making it because like you said, it's a lot of pressure to go out in the shop and just make something from nothing. And so I'll get people sending me pictures of all the things that they've made from my plans. And I'm like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, that's nice.
Then it would be great if I could just, I'm going to keep that. But let's say I didn't have a use for that step stool. It'd be great if I could donate it to somebody who is actually going to use it in a good way or somehow fund the next video. But I don't want to try to sell the thing because you're never going to get enough money for
just another job.
That's just another job. But at the same time, a lot of the things that if I was going to make like the next, like we're going to make this little stool that we're going to make, I don't want it. You probably don't want it.
Not really.
You know what I mean? So we'll probably try to sell it but it'll be a good thing. That's also different because it's the three of us. There's more of a fun factor in this project.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's a concept, with the movie, TV show thing. So gives us, at least narrows it down to something,
So then I think that's where the real beautiful thing comes in is where.
That's the alarm going on automatically.
Is where you make something that goes out into the world and helps people, like woodworking, but you don't actually have a physical product. You don't actually have anything physical that you ever have to move or take care of. So like I'll say to people, and this is a really negative thing to say, but like sometimes an artist will just spend their life making liabilities because they're making things that they then have to take care of and store and move. And when they die, someone else has to.
Yeah, the black plastic bags come out.
Yeah,
exactly.
They go for pennies on the dollar.
I saw that being a very young, and I kind of stopped, like, because when you start as an artist, they always say to you, make a cohesive body of work and then show your cohesive body of work to galleries. So you just make all this shit. And you're always making stuff and learning at the same time. But then I got to meet much, much older artists and dead artists. And then I thought, I'm not doing that. That's a lot. So then I just made things that I knew I would sell.
Yeah.
And then I turned things that I knew wouldn't sell, but I could turn them into things that I know do sell, like over time.
And you become, if you have all this stuff, you become attached to it. After, let's say you had it for 10 years, 20 years, you didn't sell it. Now you're attached to it.
Yeah.
And you're not going to let it go for, you know what I mean?
No, I don't, because I'll just destroy that stuff. So like I've had things I'm like, yeah, it's kind of a good painting, but nobody bought it. I do like it, but I don't want to move it again. And then break out the circular saw and whoop, whoop, whoop. And it's just
maybe not you, but I feel like a lot of people, if you're of that type where you're an artist and you have 300 bodies of work that you're holding on to, you're of the mindset where each one is precious and you're not, you can't, it's like a baby and you can't let it go for, so you'll take it to your deathbed before you give it to somebody or throw it out or whatever.
That's true. And that is absolutely true. And so that's what I don't want to be. So like you have to make those hard decisions. So that's the beautiful thing about being a musician is you don't have anything physical.
No, it's all there. The one thing I always, because as a songwriter, I've written hundreds of songs through the years, and not all of them have been recorded, obviously. So they don't really exist, so that's like this weird thing, like, unless there's something like I can, here's a song on my phone, boom. Where is it? Where is this idea? Where is all this stuff? It's only in my imagination.
But even the recordings don't take up any real space. They take up some digital space, and audio files are small compared to video.
Like you, I used to carry around all these 2-inch reels. You ever old 2-inch tape? I had them in milk crates in boxes. And I'd lug them with me, go through all my moves. And then one day I said, I'm never going to use these. And I just threw them all away.
Liberating.
It was.
So I know I said this. I think I said it here. The Sean Penn's house burnt down like 10 or 20 years ago. I heard him on an interview on Fresh Air. And Terry Gross asked him, how did you feel? And he's like, liberated. He goes, you know how it is. You have that drawer. It's got that photograph in there. It's got a card. It's got some other thing. It was all gone. I don't have to think about it.
I think that's that's the kind of thing you only say when you have millions of dollars.
I think, Then after that, he's probably like, well, I'm glad it was that house, not the other house.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right. But
I get what he's saying. Yeah. Being able to let things go and then not having to be your thing. But yeah, if that was your only house, you'd be screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's true. He was just talking about the stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's like, I'll say that to my kids all the time. I'll just say, your most valuable possession is your time.
Mm-hmm.
So always be aware of that, because every one of your purchases is going to require your time. So my son Jack bought a boat, and he bought it right because he bought a used boat and he bought a motor and he can sell it. And we had fun working on it and all, and he'll use it, but it's a tiny little boat. It's not like this 50-foot boat that now has to be maintained, So that's, for the most part, it's like cycling, I think, is a good thing because it's a bicycle, then you can sell it.
Yeah.
It's just things. You know, it's amazing to me how much money people spend in space that they rent in these storage spaces that are like,
It's crazy. They're putting that new one up on 36.
Building them everywhere.
It's like, how much stuff does everybody have?
I rented one for 6 months when I had to do all this work to my barn, and it was like $205 a month.
Yeah. We looked into it before we moved the shop because we were like, maybe if we had a conditioned space, we could put furniture in there. Like, you know, when it's finished in the shop before delivery, it was a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was just like, so I did it. And I remember my wife saying, she goes, well, I hope that you're not going to get too comfortable with that. I said, no, trust me, when this is done, it's like kind of like burning $200, you know? So I got my stuff out of there, and then I went through it and kind of, you know, keep calling things out.
Yeah.
Not to be really negative, but in my business, in the YouTube business, if you really want to be like jaded, is you could go and build something and just burn it like the next day. That sounds terrible.
Well, you see all these people making these things that are just...
Well, you can't burn epoxy.
You could try.
Bad for the environment.
But yeah, just making these things that are just bullshit. You know what I mean? I mean, you see like props from famous movies that rot in a warehouse. Like your epoxy table that you made specifically for a YouTube video, that's literally, it's worth nothing.
Yeah,
I agree.
So what's the point, you know?
Yeah, so that's the dilemma. And so that's funny because we're about to build a prop. But I've gotten around that because I actually think there's some value to it. I really, like, I was in a very nice home yesterday, and I thought, wow, this bench would look great here.
Yeah.
So whether we have to, I don't know, maybe we'll do some kind of a sale at the end of the year. But even if we have to sell it for nothing almost, I'm going to build it with wood that I have in the shop. And at the same time, I think it's serving a purpose of creating learning entertainment. Yeah. You know, and I think that's what the channel does too. I think both channels, if you watch the videos, you're leaving with something, you know, you're leaving with
that's the goal.
Yeah. Because
entertainment is cool and there should be entertainment involved, but this isn't all entertainment.
Yeah. And it's also knowing who you are. Like I love shooting these videos because I like you two as people, and you can tell that the people in the comments like you as people because they're getting real feedback from real people in this business. And when I'm making my videos, it's a similar thing. So that's what I do. I can make wood and I can teach people how to build things a certain way, and you guys do the same. If I were trying to be funny, then I would be trying to be somebody I'm not, and it would just be another dumb thing.
Yeah.
But if you're funny and that's what you offer, well, that's great. There's a lot of channels I watch that people are just funny, and they, you know, so it's sort of like sticking in your lane.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Well, what do you think? Should we wrap this up? My wife's texting me, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, it's probably late, right? 5:10. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I texted you at 3:30, so we just started the podcast.
Oh, that's not too bad. It's only now, 2.5 hours?
Yeah.
No. 3:30, 4:30. No.
Okay, there you go.
Not even 2 hours.
Good.
Yeah.
Freaking
I did a preemptive text to my wife as well because that's the same thing she would say.
Oh, my God.
Well, my wife knew I was going to be. I said, I'll be home around 5:30.
Oh,
her thing is she leaves her phone somewhere in the house and she goes just by the watch. So then sometimes you don't see the text messages. And she texts me these garbled messages that make no sense because she's talking into the watch.
So we'll see everybody at the expo.
Yeah,
Sunday.
Yeah. We'll probably get there. Want to go say like around 11?
Yeah.
So I'll pick you up around 10:30,
All right.
10:20. That sounds good. So it gets Saturday morning ice bath.
Yeah.
Get time for the ice bath.
Just fill the back of your truck with ice and water.
There you go. You guys do have to try it. I mean, you don't have to try anything, but it makes me feel great.
Yeah, I'm sure. Maybe I'll scope out the hot tub.
If you clean it out and put cold water in it, or just water in it today, it's going to be freezing cold.
Oh yeah,
out of the tap.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's frozen solid.
Your ice bath, it was a couple of weeks ago. Now it might not be.
Yeah, because it's pretty big.
When did you get it?
I got it like Memorial Day weekend or something.
Recently?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It's one of those inflatable ones.
Oh, nice.
But it's like, I forget, 70 inches wide.
Do you use it in the summertime?
I used it a couple times, but life gets in the way.
Yeah. Hunter must love it.
I think he went in once or twice. Kids really aren't supposed to go in a hot tub.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Boys and girls out there.
Yeah. We'll talk to you next week.
All right. Take care.
Great being here. See you.
We truly appreciate you listening. If you want to support the show, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Share the show with your friends or consider subscribing to our Patreon. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.